ladies and gentlemen. This is a cram-packed episode because I had to somehow manage to squeeze 6 hours of footage of work into 20 minutes or less. Around. So that was a lot of effort. So it's Inktober, guys, and this is my Tobering I'm doing. I've talked about it a little bit before, but what I'm doing is my husband is actually interpreting the prompts for me and giving me what to draw, and he's going to go back through and write a story with each one, and he's not sharing everything with me, but it's a really fun experience because it's like, professionalism or something, because you're not always given everything if you're going to illustrate something. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with these characters. Real quick, the first word of this Inktober was fish, and I do have something to read you, and everything else I'm just going to give you a quick run through. So, fish. The packet slipped from my gloved hand. It fell, or spun more like, toward the distant wall. What flavor was the food? No way to tell. The writing on the packet was so small. The wafer crunched between my mighty jaws, unsubtle taste soon flavoring my breath. Could not immediately know because, never real, not tasting of its death. Snatched the paper from its spin, narrowed eyes squint to see the picture beneath the writing. The powerful taste will not be disguised. Take shallow breath to delay the fighting. Some say flavors should be banned from space, for fishy breath is hard to bear with grace. So yeah. Soon, at some point, all of these illustrations will have a nice little poem to go with it. And it's exciting. I'll tell you what he's given me for some of the other ones. Wisp was day 2. Landing spaceship approaching a planet from a distance. Planet gets larger. Finally, ship enters atmosphere. Focus on the thrusters. As it lands, finally, wisps of smoke come from the thrusters who are done firing. I actually did a little bit of the opposite of the ship taking off, but I could not imagine how this ship would land, since I couldn't imagine it with landing gear. But that's what I chose to do. He didn't argue. Something that I learned from last year's Inktober when I did your boa story is I really, really like having high contrast 50-50 or more black and white with these, and that was one thing I really looked at with this one, is there's a ton of black, and I think it really makes the wisp itself, which was going to be white anyway, stand out and be kind of cool. Yeah. Bulky, spaceman being helped into bulky spacesuit by Buddy, possibly dialogue. This one is one of my favorites. I think it's super adorable because you see the massive size difference between the echidna and the platypus, and the start of their adorable friendship. I looked at a bunch of pictures of astronauts putting on their spacesuits when I was looking at reference for this one, and it looks like most of the time they just have their pants fully put together and they just leap into them, which is quite amusing. Because you just leap into your pants. So it was kind of interesting to figure out how exactly I wanted to do this, and I realized after I had drawn the top half of the platypus that he would be doing an awkward squat. But I feel like that adds to the weight of the suit and, you know, the bulkiness. So just before Inktober started, by like a week, Jake Parker announced that Inktober was doing a collaboration with Primal, which is a cartoon on Adult Swim and HBO for me here in Sweden, about a caveman and a dinosaur who are best friends. You guys couldn't see it, but I made a dramatic turn of my head when I said that. Dinosaurs, guys. I can't resist dinosaurs. So on this day I actually did 2 prompts. And we have here a weevil about to be eaten by a compy getting stared at hungrily by a velociraptor. And I really enjoyed doing this one because it was like back to the first ever Inktober I did. I haven't done a, sketchbook reveal for that one. Maybe I will at some point. But I did nothing but just random dinosaur doodles. This is my 4th one, so that was my first one 3 years ago. So, yeah, this one was fun. It was like cute. Going back to my roots. I like the texture. Yeah. Radio. Spaceman works in outside alien environment, maybe weird plants. Inside spacesuit carrying large things, buckling things together, finally setting up radio antenna. I think right now this is currently my favorite, like top favorite, because it really sets a scene, and I kind of love the radio. And the little platypus bro, he's so cute. Blade. Spaceman gets trapped in alien foliage. Foliage tightens and Spaceman cannot get free. Finally, Desperate reaches for a blade and cuts himself free. At this point I shifted it around so we could have both characters. I'm trying to make sure I give everybody equal screen time, as you could say. My original concept was just to have him tangled up in a lot of vines, but I kind of really enjoyed adding these weird, cute, possibly carnivorous plant dudes. They're just awkward and interesting with their little, like, cuttlefish mouths and their eyes that are all over the place. This is also the first time I'm doing, like, a bunch of weird texture in the background because I really needed to work on the contrast for this piece. Once I had everything drawn in, it was just way too perfectly even with the amount of space and lines, and there was nothing popping off of the other thing. And I didn't want to do just black because I liked the black for the farther away vines. So I think I like what I came up with. It's a little noisy, but yeah, I'm sure if I tried again I could do better, but that's not what Inktober's about. Rodent. See spaceship in distance with spaceman close up, much closer to the spaceship, but obviously the spaceship with alien rat-like creature. Sniffing the spaceship, a rat is pushing their way in between a crack in the fuselage, sneaking onto the ship. I really like the design of the space rat, space mouse. I think it's super cute with the 4 ears and 6 legs. It's pretty alien, and I'm pretty happy with the pose and the strain on the face. I feel like I could have found a way to put more contrast into the page, but I like it. It's cute. have Fancy. Back on the ship, Spaceman gets help getting out of spacesuit, both get into fancy clothes, crowd into a small room with a camera, record a short message, and send it out into space. A new planet investigated. Mission accomplished. When this was described to me as a small room with a camera, I could not help but imagine a photo booth, and that was kind of the inspiration I took with this one. They are adorable, and I love them. And yeah, I didn't do a video. Kind of did a scrapbook. I mean, the video could still work. These could just be pictures that they took while doing the video. But aren't they charming with their little ties? They're so cute. And teeth. Collection of small panels with close-ups on mouths, brushing teeth, eating wafer, tongue, cleaning teeth, smiling at each other. This one I was a little tongue-in-cheek. I didn't want to do just a page of sketchy panels after I'd already done the photographs for Fancy, so I put a bunch of things on screens because the description felt very much like a possibility for a commercial. And I don't know why our little echidna dude is staring at a screen covered in teeth, many screens. But it's amusing because echidnas don't have teeth. So that brings me joy because he's bored via teeth because he doesn't understand. Also, if you look closely at the screen, all the teeth are Australian animals. And the end, teeth was the one that gave me the most trouble to figure out how to do. I dreaded it for weeks, but I was pretty happy with what came out in the end. And I'm happy with all of these, actually. It's a lot of work, but I think it's pretty nice. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me today and watching me go through my Inktober's for the week. I know there's not that many people interested in my Inktober's as far as YouTube goes, but you know what? I'm going to post them anyways, because I don't have time to do something else. Anyways, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, at least a little bit. Thank you to my patrons for their unending patience. Jamie, Hans, Kaze, Cindy, Mom, and Dad. Thank you. And I will see everyone next week with even more Inktober. Okay, bye.